etc.
Yeah. And of course, I should have been looking at levels whilst we were doing that.
Well, not that they would have been
especially
useful.
No.
We weren't operating at anything resembling normal operation there.
Nothing resembling normal.
Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free.
Hello dear listener and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin and with me as always is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
What have you been up to?
Well, Desert Bus has come and gone. While we've
missed the bus.
Yeah. While we've been away for the first time in the event's 18-year history, it went the full week with about an hour and a half to go and nothing particularly to put money towards. The entertainers just started squatting.
Right.
Like doing squats for donations.
And that was enough.
Every $1,000 would result in 10 squats. And, $60,000 went by very quickly.
Oh, good grief. That's quite a few squats.
Yeah.
They must have been exhausted.
Yeah.
The sacrifices they make for their art and for a worthy cause.
And then everybody stopped caring so much, because, we did the big thing.
Uh-huh.
And that was that. At the moment, on the Desert Bus website, at desertbus.org, the big total reads $1,252,372 and 64 cents.
Good.
Yeah.
And are they still taking donations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they'll still be taking donations for, I want to say, a couple of weeks yet.
Right.
And the profits from merch still need to go into that total at some point.
Yeah.
Last year, Beej, who is, as well as being Loading Ready Run's business manager, the merch manager for Desert Bus for Hope, said that last year he messed up the maths somewhere when he was putting in an early merch donation.
Right.
And if it had gone a little higher how much he'd messed up, it would have been overage.
Right.
And so scared him off doing any sort of early drop this year. So
fair enough.
It's not going to matter at this point. If there was another hour to be gotten, it would not be from the merch drop.
Yeah. So they're not going to have to reassemble the studio to get another hour in.
Well, back in 2020, the far-off times.
All those many years ago.
2020.
Yeah.
For the first time, the total crested $1 million. But it only did so after the stream had ended. And so, a couple of months later, they came back for an hour or two.
Okay, so I was jesting, but was actually forecasting the past.
I don't think it's something they do again.
That's because I'm telepathetic.
Because, we've done the million, we've done the full week.
Yeah.
Which is a bit more than $1 million.
Cool.
And great news. What we found out during the thank yous at the end of the event, which went for, 45 minutes, so blink and you miss it type stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're going to be holding an online event in May.
Okay.
in addition to...
So another fundraiser.
Another fundraiser, yeah. No idea what form it'll take.
Yep.
Just know that something will happen sometime in May.
I'm guessing that they realised that the squats were so popular that they're just going to have a squats episode.
Right.
And that will be the sole fundraising thing.
And the rest of my time before and after has... I wouldn't say clean-up. I haven't done as much clean-up as I'd have liked. And I should get into that the rest of this week, but... yeah. It turns out that I solved a lot of my problems ahead of time this year, so still going to have to check over it all, but it should be good. And I have watched Deadpool and Wolverine, and it was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay.
That is an absolute thumbs up from Thomas then.
Very much a send-off to 20th Century Fox era Marvel.
Yep.
Which is some years dead now.
It is.
But,
so long and thanks for all the fish. Or thanks for all the fox.
But yeah. No,
all right.
A lot of...
lot
of references to films that I had not watched and had no idea had been made.
Oh, right.
Especially in the closing montage over the end credits, which is just a bunch of behind-the-scenes footage from all manner of 20th Century Fox Marvel films.
Oh. Which production company did Howard the Duck?
That's a great question.
Isn't it just? This week's hiatus has just had me filled with great and intelligent conversation starters.
I don't think it came up. Especially seeing as it was a Lucasfilm film distributed by Universal.
There we go.
So, no.
No, Howard.
So, this past fortnight, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? You know that big long list of conversation starters? They did not include a big long list of things that I've been up to, so I'm going to have to make it up.
Right.
Went for a good long kayak with dear listener Helen and almost ran into a large cruise ship called the Queen Elizabeth. Look it up, Google it. But just make sure that you Google the right one because there's been lots of them. We were trying to work out exactly how it compared to the size of the Titanic. And I got bamboozled by, okay, I didn't think it was that. And then realised that it was referring to the first Queen Elizabeth cruise ship. So anyway, the currently travelling around various parts of the world, Cunard Line, however you pronounce it, line, Queen Elizabeth, was parked in the middle of Port Arthur. Now, when I say Port Arthur, I mean the port of Port Arthur, convict settlement. So, yeah, we had no idea that it was going to be there. We thought, let's duck down to that area because we'd not paddled around it and have a look-see and a paddle around. And almost as we got to the place, Helen said, there's something very big in the water. And there was indeed. And it had tender boats plying back and forth between the Queen Elizabeth and the landing jetty at Port Arthur, shifting huge amounts of tourists. And I'm guessing it works out cheaper for them, especially time-wise, because the bus trip from Hobart to Port Arthur is a bit of a waste of a day if you're only in the port for one day. So I guess they work out that it's easier to plonk your boat there and then shuffle people from the boat itself rather than big long bus trips.
Yeah. The way there is not exactly as the crow flies.
No. Been taking lots of photos, had some cool experiences with some photography, and the couple of photos that I've had put on the wall has sort of headed me in a direction of revisiting a whole heap of my photos to see how they can be presented as monochrome in that particular ratio. So
or mostly monochrome.
Yes. I've slipped in little sparkles of colour where appropriate. So that's been fun. A bit kitsch, but Steven Spielberg has done it, so why can't I?
In local news,
We weren't going to go there.
Oh, well, you never said that.
No, I think we do, because so many people are just absolutely riveted by our conversation of local politics.
In local news, the AFL High Performance Centre has gone to Kingborough.
So all our protestations of it not being here.
While I am happy that it has done so, I do actually agree with the mayor on many of the reasons that he is angry that it has done so. DSG have been silent for months, and I lay much of the blame for vitriol at their feet, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they have been silent. But as I've mentioned numerous times before, with the conversation at that public meeting where the general manager said to me personally, expressed his concern about the idea of trying to put both ovals on just the bottom half. And he said to me, if you look at the information that we have, it's the reason why we did not propose that. And so this is what gripes me about the mayor. He has known and has not shared that information either as to what they've known about what it means going on with just using that side of the road. And I think the writing was on the wall then, and so he's doing quite a bit of saving face, or trying to, and he's being laughed at, as far as I can tell, through the limited channels that I have, because I've been blocked by him on his Facebook page where he releases various bits of information.
I don't know. I just find it very annoying that DSG would keep council completely in the dark, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Until it was told to the mayor, a day before an official announcement?
Well, supposedly he found out, and most of the council found out, through a leaked announcement by one of the local sports news persons with an exclusive, this is imminent, likely to happen tomorrow. So there were lots of people going, oh, well, it's wonderful to hear this type of information from the media rather than from the government. So yeah, there have been major stuff-ups, but my probably completely biased opinion is once the elector poll result was announced, they knew that they were up the creek. Mm-hmm. Because they knew that that really was not viable. That is absolutely the position of the general manager at the time of that public forum meeting, that really wasn't viable. So they knew as soon as the elector poll occurred that this is not good. So to feign surprise and dismay, I don't know. My bias is showing, but anyway.
Look, I don't disagree that it was a stupid pursuit in the first place, but...
No. And they're retrospectively arguing that, if we had known that this option and the travel option was available, then we would have pursued other options. Yeah, the joys of not knowing exactly the information that they were given by government. So who knows? Anyway, we're not getting it. Another local council is, and good for them. And now we shall watch as our wonderful City Heart plan will formulate, coalesce around us, and bring joy and happiness to everyone.
And definitely not some other sort of sports ground.
Oh, Thomas, I've missed these conversations as you have wandered around the house zombie-like and don't talk to me. At last, your mind is clear now. Clear enough that you are able to take in a film and we're able to talk about it.
The first day after Desert Bus was, it wasn't good.
The first day, that was the worst. The second day, that was the worst too.
I stayed up far too late, waiting for the end. The fact that it went the full week did not help this.
No.
And then I slept way longer than I wanted to, and awoke sweaty and headachy, which is not a good combination.
No. But the joy of everything suddenly going, it's over. Body does weird things.
Incredibly, managed to right the ship on the second day, so that wasn't too bad afterwards.
Good. Was that the Queen Elizabeth?
We have a film.
We do. It is a film that you have selected, but have not watched.
Mm-hmm.
I have watched, but only watched many, 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 many years ago. And I've just got weird memories. So I'm trying to put them at the back of my mind and hoping that I can go into this with an open mind. Highly unlikely. But what are we watching today?
We are watching Ding! Batteries not included.
The ding being a Asterix.
Asterisk.
I did it again, didn't I?
Yeah.
The Gaul of me, yes. Yeah. Good. We're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Would you tell our dear listener what Ding! Batteries not included is all about?
A group of poor tenants on New York's Lower East Side have nothing more than sheer determination to stop the destruction of their homes. The feisty group are delighted when a few visitors from open space... Open space? No. The feisty group are delighted when a few visitors from outer space drop in to help... No, I need to read it again, because there's quotes around visitors, so, you need to...
Yes.
You need to give the word room to breathe.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The feisty group are delighted when a few visitors from outer space drop in to help out.
Your voice gurgled right in the middle of visitors there. You're going to have to start that again.
No, I'm good.
You good?
That one, I am happy with that one.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, if you're happy with second-rate production values, then fine. We'll move on. Did you finish?
I did finish.
Oh, right. That's what we're watching, apparently.
Before and after that just comes self-congratulatory stuff.
Self-congratulatory stuff that we will probably get into a little later during the Untitled segment, because I think somebody makes mention of certain names listed in the self-congratulatory stuff.
Right.
Yes. Thomas is going to open the case. He's going to find that there's a round circular thing in it that flies if you throw it hard enough.
I'm not gonna.
There's a sense of foreshadowing there. A round circular thing that flies if you throw it hard enough. He's going to put it into the machine. We are going to watch it, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. So we shall catch you on the flip side.
Turn to side B.
But if you do that, you'll...
Yeah, then turn it right way up again.
Yes.
The theta on the bottom.
Have you never seen a drone go inverted for any length of time? Not a pretty sight. So if you're going to do any turning to side B, quickly turn to side A again. You mongrel. So what did you think?
It was alright.
Okay, so was it Deadpool and Clory Guy all right?
It's fine. It's not anything particularly to write home about. I think.
Yeah. I think it's pretty naff. A bit rubbish, really. But that is my opinion, and that is what I was fearing I recalled from the last time I saw it.
There's some nice modelling work, but unfortunately it's not composited in particularly well.
No. I think my main gripe with it is that it doesn't know who its target audience is. Mm-hmm. It's got cutesy little robots, but very, very dark themes.
Yeah.
And yet it also misses the teenage audience as well, because it's dealing with old people, and old people aren't interesting to teenage...
Old people and property rights?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like making a sci-fi movie about trade delegations and trade embargoes and just... I don't know. I just did not feel who this was aimed at, and everything just sort of didn't hit any marks. There are a couple of semi-funny bits in it, where it tried really hard, but you could tell that it was trying really hard. And the senses of peril, again, they were trying really hard, but it just didn't make it either. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of telemovie level, and yeah. The scenes on top of the building with the painted backdrop, I can understand why when they first went up there, they did it at night, because the moment that they went up there during the day, it was almost as if where they were standing, they could run their fingers along the backdrop. It just, production values were all over the shop, and it felt like a stage play for me. Yeah. It wasn't all right for me. Please say something.
So Brad Bird.
Yes.
First film writing credit. And I think there's some themes in there that carry throughout the rest of his work.
Yes. There are.
Yeah.
I can't think of any, though. No. You've got a possibly very dangerous technology involved here that turns out to be helpful to a small group of people, but a threat to others. And
you know what he does? He does robots and family.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to bag on old people, because I am old people, not quite as old as the old people in this. But if they had made it more young people, and it was missing a kid.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, all through this film, I'm like, this film needs a kid.
Yeah. Isn't that bizarre? Because it's easy to say that, but, you know, kids and animals and robots, it's risky. But that's what it was missing. And I did say that we were going to get to it, but I think we need to raise the whole Spielberg thing. I cannot believe that a film, how did it present it? Steven Spielberg Presents.
Spielberg Presents. So yeah. This story concept was originally intended for Spielberg's Amazing Stories television series.
Did I not say it felt like a telemovie?
And Spielberg, in his infinite wisdom, was like, no, we're going to make this a film.
That was a beautiful Spielberg impersonation. It was special. Okay, I did not realise that. And that explains a whole heap of things.
Yeah.
Wow. That makes a whole heap of sense. But how he did not have the aha moment and say, we need a kid in here, because he's extremely guilty of that. And a lot of times he gets away with it quite successfully. But, yeah, that's what it needed. Not old people. Sorry, old people and myself. You haven't seen the movie Cocoon.
No.
And Cocoon 2. Well, basically most of the old people cast in this all shuffle off to go into Cocoon, or maybe they did before this. I can't remember. But in my head canon, they did not end up moving back into the building, but they went off and moved to the retirement home that becomes the plot synopsis of Cocoon. So, kid. It needed a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also needed maybe 10 years more worth of Photoshop for the opening credits. A bit of an explainer. There's a whole heap of old photos to establish the background story of the neighbourhood. And they've got all of these old photos, and they've put the faces of the actors onto the... It's just, yeah... It was faces stuck on bodies, and it just didn't work.
You know what the film needed? One fewer narrative loops.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sort of goes through this progression of, okay, we're dealing with the people in the building. Okay, now we're dealing with Carlos and his crew.
Yep.
And does this a few times before the film comes to an end. And I think it needed one fewer cycle.
Yeah, yeah. And we're dealing with dementia. I couldn't think of the word. They're just messy. Sorry, don't like this film.
Right.
I could quite happily not bother ever watching this film again. It's empty and dull and poorly made and doesn't... There were meant to be hurrah moments, and I didn't feel hurrah. All I could think of was, wow, that bit where the burning piece of building falls right onto the camera... That was spectacular. That was the only thing that inspired me of this whole film.
Right.
Yeah.
So in a shocking turn of events, I am less down on this film than you
It's quite bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you need to watch it a couple more times.
No, I don't think I do. I enjoyed it well enough. I don't need to see it again.
I really am glad that you enjoyed it enough. What did the director end up going on to do? Do you have that information that you can bring up for me?
The director was Matthew Robbins. No, you know, he's collaborated on films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Jaws.
Right, so it was a... Here you go.
Done a lot with Guillermo del Toro. You know,
Mr. G. Del Toro.
Wrote his Pinocchio.
Wrote it?
Yes.
Huh.
Dragon Slayer.
I can see that. Yes, I can see that. Right, okay. Was Dragon Slayer on our list of things that people suggested? Can't remember. Anyway, I digress. You liked it more than I did.
Yeah.
A strange turn of events. Maybe I'm just in a downer mood. I don't know. But it was what I feared I was expecting. And it didn't disappoint.
Yeah, it wasn't what I expected at all, to be honest. And I think it does come down to the not having a kid thing.
Yeah. I think I might write to Mr. Spielberg and say, look, it maybe needs a revisit now that the technology possibly will pull off the whole realism thing just a little bit more and put a kid or two in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kill off some of the old people.
There's a multimedia story, can't quite say comic, can't quite say novel, by a sports writer called John Boyce, called 17776, which is about a future in which, around about now, people stopped aging and stopped having children, and very rapidly developed technology that meant nobody really got injured either.
Right.
And because it's by a sports writer, it's largely focusing on, you know, what happens to American football.
Yeah.
Wild and weird things.
Yeah, yeah.
Including things that you wouldn't be able to do if you were able to be injured. At one point, the focal point characters, which turns out probes that we've sent off way off into space that have gained sentience for wibbly-wobbly reasons, who are looking at the world, and they comment on how humanity has largely given up on any sort of explorative goals. Like, they thought about going to space, and it's like, we don't really need to, do we? We do actually have all we need here now, because... you know, nobody's coming in. Nobody's going away, but nobody's coming in. And they look at all these unexplored places, and the thing that they grasp upon is that the people who would explore those unexplored places were children.
Yeah, yep. I guess we need the children.
Yeah.
Somebody think of the children. Anyway, I have nothing else to say about this film. Do you have anything else to say about this film?
No, not really.
No. Thomas gives it a highly recommended.
No, no.
And I don't. I think we shall move on.
It's a mild praise from me.
Okay, good. Mild praise.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting. All right, let's move on.
The following segment has no title. Thank you.
We will start over on Discord with Entuosferatu.
Hi, Entuosferatu.
Who says curses.
I'm not surprised you say curses.
Every time I've guessed using a number, it's been wrong, so I didn't consider it.
Well,
And I'm feeling weird at the moment, so I'm going to plough straight on to his guess, which is for this week.
Okay.
I'll go with Dave. D-A-V-E.
Right.
Got to stock up on those arbitrary points.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, we shall see, but hopefully that might give you an arbitrary point.
Yeah. For next week, I didn't know, ding, batteries not included was a Spielberg. Also, how long ago has it been since that phrase was in use? You'd have to be old enough to remember TV with toy commercials and toys that take 12C batteries. I have an unconstructed sort of marble run thing in my bedroom from Christmas that even if I did construct it, I don't know where it would go afterwards. That didn't come with batteries and required C batteries.
That is right. It's bizarre that upon reading that I was thinking there was someone who I failed in providing batteries for one Christmas day. And
it was last Christmas.
It was last Christmas, in fact. So what type batteries? It was
C
the C's.
cells, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was the C size that the batteries not included phrase was specifically designed for. Because not so much now where everything's rechargeable, but certainly when I was growing up and when you were growing up, there was a good stock of D-size batteries in the house.
Yeah, the rectangles? Yeah?
No, the rectangles are 9-volt batteries, the little ones.
Yeah.
The Ds, which go in the torch.
Right.
Yeah, the chunky handled torch. And you've got the double A's.
Yeah.
Triple A's sort of crept in there when remote controls shrunk. Mm-hmm. But C's, you don't keep a stock of C's in the house because very rarely does anything use C-size batteries, except for, where am I going to put this, marble run type devices. C's are I don't know. And let's not talk about the B battery. Have you ever seen one of those?
I have not, no.
Neither have I. They did exist, but went well before my time.
Over on Facebook, we find Helen.
Do we?
Yes.
Oh, there she is. Oh, do you want me to read it?
No, usually you say something else.
Do I? Oh, hi, Helen.
Yes, that. Some random observations resulting in a lengthy post. I think the audio was a bit different from the alternative recording device.
Yes.
A hint of echo and a smidge spikier, as heard through my wireless hearing aids.
Yeah, when I was editing it, I certainly noticed that both devices have little amplifiers inside them to amplify the microphones before they're recorded. Mm-hmm. And the technology was obviously different in both machines, and the fallback machine, yes, the preamps in that were a little spikier, but lucky it was there to save the day. I fiddled around with the usual machine and I got it working again. It just was having a moment, I think. And it's working again today too, thankfully.
Yeah, microphones, yeah. It's a little bit of metal vibrating in an electromagnet, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah, which does not produce a lot of power.
No.
Helen continues, I think the word for black and whiteifying might be monochromaticize, although maybe that's just a word I made up.
See, I thought I'd said monochromaticize, but I don't know. I can't remember. It's been weeks.
Pity about the non-square house for aligning the photos. That must be annoying, although not as bad as the 27 photos in my stairwell, which are all kinds of crooked with only me to blame.
There is a solution to that. You just shake the house and they will all sort of align.
I was going to make some comment about Thomas's pronunciation of Kleiner in German until I realised that I'd been spelling it as Klein in my head, and so the comment is irrelevant, and this one is even more so.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother reading that, Thomas.
No.
Yeah. Good.
And yes, Dave is a good movie, which I may have watched quite a few times. It has some solid acting and amusing moments. I'll go with Dave, that's D-A-V-E, as my guess for the week. I toyed with the idea of being really silly and getting rid of the vowels, as per occasional necessity, but decided to take note of the very strong hints to go with the obvious.
What?
I don't want
strong hints.
I don't want to forego the dopamine hit that comes with getting an arbitrary point, even if I have to wait 2 weeks to get it. Good luck with Desert Bus for Hope. I've decided that Desert Bus for Hope has potential as an alternative to activity.
I like that. I think we should go for that.
A couple of months back, Loading Ready Run didn't go to a PAX event. But PAX had already made up a banner for Loading Ready Run for their table in Bandland, where they reside, even though Loading Ready Run is not a band.
That's quite bizarre.
No, they'd done up a banner, and there was table space available anyway, so Desert Bus for Hope took up the space and did a panel, and absolutely vandalised this banner with, as it turns out, Desert Bus for Hope.
Right.
And all sorts of signatures from people who'd shown up to the panel, and a couple of stickers. And eventually, with the permission of shipping, that was given away.
Ah.
Yeah, so that's hopefully going to some lucky person somewhere else.
It's one banner for you, and there's a banner for you, and there's a banner for you.
I believe that one was being shipped out from the US side of the border. Canada Post, the delivery people, I think, went on strike a couple of days before the end of the run.
Oh.
So things that were being held in Canada in order to show them off on camera, a little difficult to get those out.
Yeah, that's annoying.
But as Erica said, everything's fine.
Everything is fine.
It's all fine.
Everything's fine.
She said, sipping from her coffee mug.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And finally, over on YouTube...
Yeah.
M.
Hi, M from YouTube.
Says, trying to move off of Twitter.
Yeah, good move.
My guess is simply Dave, spelt D-A-V-E. Attentive listeners will have noticed that there is not a lot of variety in the guesses that we have received this week. Indeed,
M went for D-A-V-E.
Yes, but Entwasferatu also went for D-A-V-E.
Yeah, but Helen went for D-A-V-E.
Also went for D-A-V-E. Yeah, they've all gone for D-A-V-E.
Oh, they're both identically different except for the other one.
And I notice that D-A-V-E is listed in bold in this table at the bottom of our document here, which leads me to believe that it might be the right answer.
Wow. You have an arbitrary point, and you have an arbitrary point.
You all
get an arbitrary point. Oh, well done, everyone that contributed. You are all correct. I mean, what else could it have been? I did briefly toy with doing Dave, because there were two of them.
Yeah. Things perhaps more difficult this week.
Indeed. I'm going to show Thomas what the file name for this week's recording is, and he's going to drop his jaw and go, no one's going to guess that.
I think that was going to be the case, regardless of what you'd put on the screen there.
Yes. I remind our dear listener that the characters available to me do not include a bing. Just for help, I did use all 8 spaces to try somehow to get batteries not included.
Yes. It is 8 letters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. No numbers.
No underscores.
No. Just letters.
Just letters.
So if you'd like to have a guess as to what the file name is for this week, please submit one.
We also accept any other sort of commentary or film suggestions to all of the usual places, and hopefully none of the unusual places.
Yes.
Because we're not going to see it.
Things are unusual out there. So you haven't created a blue sky?
I haven't yet, but it's on the rise, isn't it?
It is. I actually had one many moons ago. I was, in the grand scheme of things, a fairly early person. I got an invite from someone, so...
I have a Blue Sky account with a non-Blue Sky domain, because I have a domain name and I can do that.
Oh, how special is that?
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, we've waffled on for far too long. We should move on to our final segment.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed.
your turn.
It is, and it's thrown me completely because my carefully set out system of calendars is now thrown because of Desert Bus. Curse you, Desert Bus. So I'm going to...
Think of the children.
Oh, think of the children. All right. I want you to cast your mind back to when we watched... Now, what was it? No, I'm trying to remember which one it was that we watched. Was it... Have we watched The Mouse That Roared for the podcast?
On the podcast, I don't know.
Right. What about Dr.
Strangelove we have, yes.
Right, okay. So
you're in a Peter Sellers mood then.
Except Peter Sellers isn't in this.
Right.
But it's sort of more on the feeling of The Mouse That Roared.
Right.
I think. I haven't seen it. This is a film that I haven't seen, but when I was looking at something, I saw this film and it sounded Alec Guinness is in it.
Right.
All the parts are played by Alec Guinness.
Right.
Who was in...
The Lady Killers?
The Lady Killers. Did we watch The Lady Killers?
For this?
For this. Lucky we had 2 weeks to prepare.
We did watch the 1955 Lady Killers
okay,
for this.
It was that prompted this and prompted me to go and buy it. So you're not actually going to guess what it is,
We did also watch The Mouse That Roared for this.
Okay. Basically in the same era, hailing from the golden age of Ealing comedies, Kind Heart and Coronets stars Dennis Price as the debonair yet impoverished Louis Mazzini, the would-be Duke of Chalfont, whose mother was disinherited by her noble family for marrying beneath her. When her dying wish to be buried in the family crypt is refused, Louis vows to avenge his mother and work his way up the family tree by engaging in the gentle art of murder. One by one, the attempts to kill off the 8 successors that stand in the way of his becoming Duke, all played by Alec Guinness in an unforgettable tour de force performance. That's what we're in for. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so we shall see. We hope that you can join us so that you can see. But until then, you can tell I'm just really know what I'm doing right at the moment as parts of me pass out. We hope that you can join us, but until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
Okay, let's get some levels.
Yeah? Yeah, you'd like some levels? Here are some levels.
Let's clear out some phlegm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Thomas.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think any of that clearing out represented useful levels.
No, it didn't.
No.
Okay. I think we're going to go, though.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.